Hi everyone, today I'm doing another Project 10 Wears using the Hallberg palettes that I recently got for Christmas. They are gorgeous. This one is the Enchanted Secrets palette, is the Duochrome one with 4 massive pans, and they're all fairly different and have some interesting shifts to them. And then you've got the Metallic Mysteries one, which is the metallic palette. Now, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with this series, it's basically a series where I sit down and talk about what I did to achieve the look, but I don't demo it. But in the next video, I will be doing a review, or the next couple of videos, I'll be doing a review on these two palettes as well as a demo on either my favorite look or the one that's been most requested in the comments below. So let me know which one you'd like to see, if you'd like to see a tutorial on any of them. So if you want to see the 10 looks I've created, then just keep watching. Today I have used this Metallic Mysteries palette, and I have paired this with the NARS Man Ray palette that my mum got me for Christmas because I haven't really used it. I think this is the first time I've used it, or maybe the second time. So I've got Joe with me today. He is so pink compared to me. Hey! Because he's awake. Usually I do film when he's asleep, but instead of doing his usual 3-hour nap, he's decided to do only a 45-minute nap. So you're gonna have to stick around with me today while I'm filming. But I was watching the new Caroline Huron's video where she was getting her makeup done by Hannah Martin, I think that's her name. And she's a makeup artist. I think she did Kate Middleton's wedding. But I really loved the look that she did, and she basically did this really nice kind of gradient liner look with navy, and I love navy eyeshadow, especially contrasted with brown eyes. I think it looks really nice. I've gone in with the navy shade in here. I've started off with this kind of, I don't know, it's like an orangey brown shade. And I've gone all over my mobile lid with that shade. And then I used this like khaki green shade slightly below it, more concentrated on the closer to the lower lash line. And then finally I use the navy shade. I use this navy shade as a liner. And then I have incorporated the Metallic Mysteries palette and done a bit of a glittery eye look. And I love the actual fact that this eyeshadow, I've used Collision, which is the gold shade here. It's a very wet look kind of eyeshadow, and I really like that. Kind of very hard to see on camera, but it kind of, like I said, has a wet look. It has a very dry feeling, so I have applied this with a brush to give more a diffused look, but if you really want to pack it on, it's best to use your finger or a wet brush or one of those like paddle sponge applicators. I've got a few eyeshadows that this kind of, the effect kind of looks similar. I've got this Urban Decay Moon Dust, no, it's a, yeah, it's one of the moon dust type of eyeshadows. This is in Diamond Dog. It's again got that kind of wet look, very, very small shimmer particles in it. And then I've also got the Natasha Denona top coat, and I've got the shade Grey Brown. I quite like the wet look type metallic glittery eyeshadows because they don't look so chunky and textured on the eyelid, and it just gives that beautiful reflect. I just think it looks really flattering. And then on my lips, I'm using the Suq Extra Glow Lipstick in 11. This is the nude shade that I keep in my handbag, and I love it. So today I've decided to incorporate the Enchanted Secrets palette and the Metallic Mysteries palette the way I would use it with the Mothership palette from Pat McGrath, where I've laid the black on the outer V and then a slightly lighter shade in the crease, and then add the metallic goodness on the mobile lid. And then I've gone in with Zephyr, which is this duochrome shade from here to the inner corner, as well as the inner corner highlight. I do actually find that the texture of this is somewhat similar to the Pat McGrath ones, but I will say the Pat McGrath ones are slightly, I feel like they're slightly chunkier. And I do notice that when I was looking at the ingredients on the back of each packaging that they do share similar ingredients, but not exactly the same. For example, this is Via Nectar, and then this is Zephyr. And so this is Zephyr, we've already swatched that one. And then this is Via Nectar. Via Nectar definitely has that chunkier, drier feeling Zephyr feels a lot smoother. And then I've also taken the Metallic Mysteries palette. I've taken Gamma, this kind of coppery shade, and I've just patted that into next to Zephyr. This is the shade here. It's not my most foiled eyeshadow formula ever. I would say the Colored Rain ones are way more intense than this. When layered on top of black, I find that these kind of duochrome shades really stand out a lot more. And then on my lips, I'm using Pat McGrath Flesh 2. So because I'm a silly person, I deleted the footage, so unfortunately all you've got is my voice. But luckily, I actually did do a demo of this particular look in my previous video where I was using the Viseart Grand Pro, so I'm going to put that in the cards if you want to see that. So if you think I'm looking a little crazy today, it's because I followed one of Linda Hallberg's tutorial on these palettes. I wanted to kind of see and try it out the way that she uses them. So I've used Colourpop So Quiche as my base, and this is a really beautiful shade. It's a super old eyeshadow. This is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It's kind of like a taupe with purple shimmer in it. And then I have used this shade from the Enchanted Secrets palette, and it's got a blue shift and a pink base, and I've just patted that on the center of my eyelid, and I really love how it's turned out. I think it's really very gorgeous. It's got a lot of dimension to it. And then I've used some mattes from the Pat McGrath Subliminal palette. I've used the black and the taupe on the inner and outer V, and in the transition as well, because I do love her mattes. And then I've also used the Metallic Mysteries palette, and I've used Gamma, which is this copper shade here, just for my inner corner highlight. And then for my lips, I'm using this Mood crayon, and this is in Daring Mood. It's the same pencil that she was using. This is one of those multi-purpose crayons that she has, so you can use it all over your face, on your lips, everything like that. And it's super creamy, so as you can see, the point really dulled down, and I had to sharpen it to finish my lips. So I feel like if I used this regularly, this wouldn't last very long. I did use a little bit of lip gloss just to make it a little bit more creamy, because this goes on pretty matte. So here is yet another metallic look. I'll admit I did a pretty rushed job with my makeup today because it is something like 37 degrees and I'm just sweating. So today's makeup is not looking the best. I started off with this Eyeshadow from Ritual de Fille, and this is in Serpent de Mer, and it's kind of a purple shade, and I use that as a base. And then I've also gone in with, it's very waxy, so it's kind of hard to swatch. Then I've gone in with Orphic all over my mobile lid. This is the black with a lot of blue shimmer in it. I've also used the Metallic Mysteries palette. I've used the shades Deadly Star just to deepen that purple in the outer V. And then for my inner corner, and I just kind of placed this shade very haphazardly, Collision, which is this very shiny shade. I think it looks great as an inner corner highlight. It's my favorite way to use this, but it does kind of go everywhere. And then on my lips, I'm using this Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in Dolce, a favorite nude of mine. You've probably seen it a lot in my previous wears. So today I've decided to play around with the Enchanted Secrets palette and use these shades on my eyelid without a base, because I wanted to see what they looked like on its own. And so I've tried to incorporate all these shades on my eyelid, so it does look a little bit weird. Basically, I've used Moonwake on the outer V, then next to on the center I've used Zephyr, and then in the inner portion I've used Ethereal, and then on the lower lash line I've used Orphic. And I feel like out of all these shades, I could probably see myself using Moonwake by itself the most often, basically because this has a kind of a sheer base to it. It's like a sheer orange base to it, and then you can see that blue to pink shift as you move your head, which I think is really cool. And then on my lips, I'm wearing Galaxy, and this is from Colored Rain, and I feel like the metallic liquid lipsticks are pretty good, although I did have to layer this a little bit in order to get full opacity. And you know what? This is what happens when I wear light tops. I always get makeup on it. So, but luckily this is just a pajama top. So there you have it. So I dyed my hair this morning because my hair was getting a little bit light for my liking, and I was planning for it to be blue, but it's turned out teal. And I'm not quite sure if I like it yet, but I think it's hopefully gonna grow on me. So for my eyes, I've created this gradient wing. I had in mind to use the Enchanted Secrets, but in a more subtle way. So I decided to use the Nabla Dreamy palette for this gradient eye. I've used the shades Dogma, and that's to create the wing, and then I've actually completed the wing using the shade Inception, which is a metallic, I guess it's a purple shade, but it's quite cool tone. It's got kind of like a grey shift to it. And then I've used the Enchanted Secrets palette. I've used this shade Moonwake. I've really packed it on closer to the inner corner and then just sheared it out. And I know I said I wasn't going to get anything from Pat McGrath in a while, but I succumbed because I wanted the Decadence palette. And I have to say, I'm not upset that I have it. But I also picked up this matte trans lipstick. This is one of the new shades. This is Modern Woman, and I think it's a really nice purple. I actually wanted to pick up a shade that I think I didn't really have in my collection because I have a lot of lipsticks, and I feel like this is a really nice muted purple that is more wearable than some of my crazier purples, but I really like this shade, and again, not quite mad that I have it. And the great thing is this actually arrived to me in a week and a half from when I ordered, so that was really appreciated because last time there was a massive shipping debacle, so my faith has been restored. So today I've done this coppery halo eye with really overdrawn lips. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, I have used this palette from Dress of Colours, which is the first time I've used it, or the second. And you know what? If you think Subculture is powdery, this one is super powdery. So I've used this shade, which is a red based brown, and I used it on the outer V as well as the inner corner. And then in the crease, I went in with the shade next to it. And then on the center of my lids, I have used the Metallic Mysteries palette today. I've used Gamma. Oops. Ooh, I'm always dropping makeup, sorry. I really like it, by the way. Maybe I should swatch it for you. Here you go. And then on top of that, I've used Collision, and I feel like I really love this shade. I think this is probably my favorite shade from the entire palette. It really reminds me of those Lit Cosmetics foiled metal things, or pressed glitter. Like the effect of it is like glitter. So I've used that on my fingers, on the center, on top of Gamma, and then also on the center of my little lash line. And I think it looks really cool. Although I feel like by the end of the day, this is probably going to be covered. My whole face is probably going to be covered in this, as well as Joey's. My mum's always asking me why Joey's glittery. Sorry, baby. And on my lips, I'm using Whatever from Colored Rain. Kind of overdraw them quite a lot because this doe foot applicator, I just find that it's kind of hard to get a precise line, and I don't have a brown lip liner, so I kept kind of going out of line and out of line just to even things up, and now my lips look quite big, bigger than they usually do, but all natural. So today's look is a relatively simple look. Sometimes I just don't want to overthink it and just go simple. So I've only just used 2 shades from the Metallic Mysteries palette, and I paired that with a couple of mattes from the Grand Pro Visia palette that I recently reviewed, namely the matte browns, midtone browns, and I also used the matte black as a liner. The shades I did wear today was Bang, which is this metallic kind of white shade. It does look very foiled on the finger, but it doesn't go on as metallic. Even when I put it on my eyelid, it kind of goes on a little bit chunky, and then I do have to blend it out, which then just diffuses the foiled texture. And then on top of that, I've laid Collision, again with my finger, so it's kind of gone everywhere. It's in my hair. It's the metallic shimmer particles just kind of get everywhere. So I did want to just isolate it to my lid, but unfortunately it just gets on your face. So I've had to go in with concealer and just clean that up a little bit. I definitely feel like I have this shade in my collection already, and in more intense versions. I've used the shade Stevie from the ABH matte lipstick range, and I really like this shade. This shade is really the kind of thing that I gravitate towards. I probably have like 10 of these kind of shades in my collection, but I never learn, do I? So today's look, I'm doing something a little bit different from what I usually do. I thought I'd try some graphic liner. I'm not very good at it, especially because I have lots of texture in my eyes, and I do find it hard to actually figure out where to put the liner that doesn't kind of get all messed up by my eyelid folds. But I don't know if I feel like there's a lot of things, there's a lot of elements happening all at once. What do you think? I don't know. And I have these really cool earrings on by Two Bandits, but they make a lot of noise. So if you are wondering what's that clinking noise, it's my earrings. So sorry about that. But I'm going out and want to look a little bit nicer than I usually do. First, I've gone in with Metallic Mysteries and I've used the shade Gamma. And I've used that all over my mobile lid and just sheared it out. So I've got a bit of a glittery liner happening. I've used Collision and I used it wet. I really packed that on and it does kind of look like those Stila Magnificent Metals. It's got that same kind of glittery foil effect. And then on top of that, I've added Moonwake, which is the duochrome up here. And it just adds that little tinge of blue shift to the look. And then for the orange liner, I've used one of Linda Hallberg's crayons, and this is in Likeable Mood. I think it's a really, really vibrant, beautiful orange. These do blunt really easily because they're very creamy, so I need to find a good sharpener to get these really sharp again. And I've used that kind of like where my eyelid folds, and then as well as the inner corner. I think it just adds that really interesting pop of color. And then for my lips, I've used this Lime Chrome Velveteen in Cindy. What more can I say? This is the 10th look, and I've tried to be a little bit different to the past 9 days. So those were the 10 looks that I created with the Enchanted Secrets palette and the Metallic Mysteries palette. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite so I can demo it for you if you'd like to see that. If you want to see more of this face, please subscribe if you haven't. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully.